welcome back. Today we're in the workshop. Well, we're not really in my workshop, we're in my lounge room, believe it or not. And my lounge room has been used in this corona isolation time as my teaching studio for all my online lessons, hence the green screen and all the junk around. So please excuse the mess, the cleaner comes on Monday. Today we're looking at percussion maintenance. It's one of the things I find most aggravating about drums and things like that as a teacher, as a conductor. Whenever anyone walks in a room, they always automatically want to hit a drum. And what they don't realise is quite of the expense that's involved in there. And that is someone else's instrument. You don't pick someone's trumpet up and play it. Why would you do it just because there's a drum there? Think about it next time. Restrain yourself or ask the drummer. I have in front of me today a 29-inch Premier kettle drum, or kettle drum because it's not tunable by pedal. We'll call it a Tympani because that's what I was brought up calling them. And what you can see here is a large black stripe. That's a split. There is also another hole over here. So it's time for this skin to be replaced. Now before you go, oh yeah, just chuck a drum skid on. The basic skins start at $100 and go up to about $400. It's not cheap. So everyone looks at the Tympani and says, oh, we'll pile stuff on top of that because it's a lovely flat surface. That's an expensive shelf. So to start with, what we're going to do is we're going to go right through the maintenance process with you, and we'll build this Tympani back up. This is an old instrument, but it's got a lot of life left in it. I'm sure in schools and places around the place, you've got one just like it. First thing we need to do is remove the tuning pegs, right? Just be careful with them because sometimes they break because they're old, sometimes the washers fall off them, and sometimes they're just a bit tight. But just remove them, each one. Here we go. This is easy. We've already loosened all these because we've had problems. By the way, a split in the timp head, what you do when you hit it, instead of that nice boom sound, you just get a rat, and it's pretty awful. So we're removing those for you, and we'll put them aside. I'll just put them down on the floor. There's no particular order for these. They're all the threads are the same, everything's the same. Then we'll lift off the rim. Now the rims on Timps are pretty heavy, but just be careful you don't drop it. A, you'll hurt your foot, but B, you don't want that rim going out of round. This is what tunes your Tympani. So if this goes out of round or out of shape, your Tympani won't hold tune. So gently put it to one side. I'm just putting it over here where it'll no doubt slide down and hit the floor. And we can remove our skin. Before I do that, people often say, well, where do you measure skins from? How do I know what size Tympani I've got? Honest, we got this one and we said, oh, it's a 28-inch. When we measured the skin, it's a 29-inch tin. So just be careful of that. You go from rim to rim. Now here's my carefully pre-prepared tape measure, and it's across the diameter of the skin from the outside to the outside. There we are, there's 29 inches exactly, right? If you got a 28, you may well not be able to fit it. And you know, when you spend $200–300 on a skin, you want the right one. Skins change. On lots of cast Tympanis and things like that, they will be either a softer skin or a stretch skin. School stuff, basic Tympanis, like this one, this is a plastic head, much better, longer lasting, will do the job. I'm going to replace this. This one's an Everplay Extra. I'm going to replace this one with an Evans head. So we lift it off, and that can basically become the world's greatest frisbee. Okay, you can do whatever you like, you know, train the dog to jump through it, whatever. And you can see here we have our fiberglass shell. Now just to start with, let's just give it a clean. It's waterproof, it's fiberglass, the same thing they make boats with. So a little bit of spray and wipe and a rag on the inside, and get all those pesky things that kids have shoved in there, like the pencil, the sharpener, and any like lunch that they've shoved in there at various times. Let's get rid of that. So I'm here, I'm cleaning, I'm just using a multi-purpose cleaner on a cloth. Wipe it out, clean it out, easy. You might want to give the outside a bit of a clean too. Pay particular attention to the rim, right? If this rim is sharp, and in the older Tympanis this quite often happens, and you can see what's happened with this one, there's actually a layer of tape around which is starting to come off on one side, which I'll glue back in. The idea of that is to stop the head rattling, and it's also there to stop the head being pierced by a sharp little bit of fiberglass. Fiberglass fragments can be quite sharp. So if you haven't got that, you can always put a little bit of tape on it, as it is here, or you can just take that edge off with a little bit of very light sanding if it is sharp. Now most Tympanis come out these days pretty spot on, but if you run your fingers around it and you find, oh, there's a sharp bit, just use a little tiny bit of wet and dry, a little light sand just to take the edge off the R8 there. And also what you can do is put a little bit of graphite on there. Now graphite you can buy in a bottle. We don't need it on this because it's got the anti-rattle. But the graphite, you can put it around, and you just put it around and then wipe it off, because you don't want all that black stuff coming through on the Tympani. But what it does is it just lubricates that top and keeps that top moving, so that when you come in and you've got to do a change and you've got to make it work, it's going to be smooth, it's going to be silent. And that's really important. Okay, so we've finished our cleaning. We didn't really want to video that because it's not much different to cleaning. It's cleaning. And we've prepared the Tymp, we've gone through. Now we need to start putting it back together. And if we do it properly, and this is the same, any instrument, any percussion instrument particularly, we've got our new head. Right, here's our new head, a beautiful Evans 29-inch Tympani head. We're going to put it over the top. Notice I've re-glued the strip down here just enough so that it'll support the head as it goes on. So we'll put the head on the Tymp, and look at that, it fits. Yay! Only because we measured it, and so did the guy in the shop. This is great. We're ready to go down now to make it free. One of the things you find with Tymp heads is don't get the rim right hard on top of the rim, if you know what I mean. Like on top of the shell, a Tympani head needs to be a little bit larger. That's why the shells are a little bit smaller than the actual skin. Because what we're going to be able to do, because they're a tunable instrument, we need to be able to tune them. We need to be able to pull that head up and down to create the tension to change the pitch. So then we've got our rims, again. They will only go on one way, they don't go on two, and they go over the top like so, and then just get them to line up on to the roughly above where the holes are. Now the next little bit that we're going to do, we're going to take our pin, our tension head, and we're going to just put a little tiny bit of grease on the thread. Now you can put it on the thread if you like. If you haven't got grease, put a little bit of Vaseline on. Vaseline will wear out, that's the problem. The other way you can do it is put a little bit on top of each of the threaded holes here so that the thread goes through. I'm actually using red grease, which is made to be waterproof. It's tuning slide grease made by Con, but you can use normal grease, you can use whatever you like. Elbow grease. And then we just insert them and just start the thread off. Don't tighten them yet. Now it's a good habit to get into to take the lid off the grease first, but it's a good habit to get into to start doing things in opposites right from the word go. Not absolutely required at this point, but it's just a good thing to get into, good useful habit, cross, 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 cross. Why? Because that's how we're going to tension this head. That way we get an even tension and an even tuning. So, alright, I'm just going to do this. We'll cut the video at this point and I'll just keep doing this until they're ready, and then we'll come back and demonstrate how we tension the head. Okay, so we've managed to get it all the heads into place. Just be careful you don't cross thread them. Even though the threads are quite coarse, it is still difficult at times to do it. Now the next thing we're going to do is snug them up. So you just, one finger is the way to do it, that way you know they're going to work. Just wind them down until they're snug. Now notice I'm doing the opposites. You just feel the tension starting to come on. And that way we're just getting them all in an even place, which is good. Now I'm just sitting down again just so I can be seen in the camera, and you get bounce flash off my head. So you can see we're coming down, and you'll soon notice if there's a problem, because they don't tension or they become tight without being actually snug, and that's an indication that you've got a problem. So you stop. It's pretty hard to kill these things. There's our temp. Now what we need to do, of course, is get the tension even. And the important thing with this is to do it, first of all, do a visual inspection across your temp. And if you actually, I don't know if you can see it there, but there's a slight ripple in the tympani skin here. Now that's an indication that the head is not even, that the tension is not even. So if you tension one, it's not that one, it's this one, here we go, you'll see it just pop out. And if big ripples, you don't want any ripples in your temp skin, because that's where tears occur. It also means uneven tension. So if you're doing a tympani roll here, it's going to be a different pitch to if you're doing a tympani roll here. Alright, so let's get it now. We've got it organised. Now we need to just get the tension even, and then you can go and tune it to whatever note you require. So we start just in front of the head. Doesn't matter which one of them. There's your sound. That's lower. That one's quite a bit higher. There we've got them all even tension. Now, and we're not going to probably, I suppose we can video it, but what we're going to do is tune them. So grab a tympani tuner and find a note. Okay, so we've done that. We've taken our tympani apart, we've cleaned it, we've repaired any damage to it, we've made sure that it's all nice and smooth, we've replaced the head, or the skin if you like, but tympani head, and we've then reassembled it, lubricating parts, cleaning parts, so we're right to go now. We're ready to go. This timp can go out the door, go into a gig and be played again, which is fantastic. And you'll get a good sound. So the proof of that, of course, is in the playing, and I'm in a terrible posture, so to professional timpanists everywhere I do apologise, but it's the only height we could get out of the camera. Here we go. Now that's a low F. That's a nice sound compared to what we were getting when the timp first came in. That's a nice sound. So remember just to look after your instruments, and if you're not a timpanist, if you're not a percussionist, stay away from them. Let the pros play it, let the guys play it. If, you know, people that own the kit, I can't say that enough. But if you have problems, come and see us over at MBM. We're here to help you. We'll sort out your percussion needs and repairs and all the best stuff you need to do. We're there to help. Take care. Catch you in the pit.